Hello po, good afternoon. So in this module and discussions, we're going to discuss the technological change and digital development in the IT era nowadays. So in this discussion, we're going to focus on how technology changed our daily lives. So in introductions, the electronic digital computers had continues to have a profound impact not only on the businesses and science but on the society in general. History studies are extremely useful in evaluating that impacts and understanding the process of changes that lead to even more advanced technologies. So nowadays, our technologies advances. So if we're going to see and evaluate our technology nowadays, they are embedding specific AI, which is they are inserting specific software updates on our mobile phone technologies, and even though in specific computers that we have. So if you're aware with different kinds of technologies, they are updating. Ano po? And in this technology changes our daily lives because it has it affects our daily lives specifically in transporting or converting our manual process into automatic. And in this discussion also we're going to tackle different kinds of technologies that they are used in primitive time. So in our previous discussion we discussed different kinds of evolutions of communications, what are the digital technologies that we had, what are the impact in our society, and now we're going to go on the broad discussions regarding sa digital changes from our time down or up to their primitive time or digital era nila nowadays. So first we have the basic computing which is focusing on abacus. Ano po? It is a mechanical processing device that focusing on arithmetic calculations. If you're going to go in the Divisoria, Ongpin, or sa Binondo, there is a specific store that is using that mechanical devices. But basically, if you're going to use this is the traditional way. Meron pong gumagamit pa sa Binondo and Ongpin, tsaka sa Divisoria, yung mga inchik po doon. They are using abacus pa for their calculations. Pero basically, if you're going to see, the basic computing periods nowadays down to our digital era, ang katumbas po nito is calculator, which is it is the first manual data processing devices. And po if they're going to sell something, they are using abacus for calculations. And abacus was developed in China in 12th century. Ano po? So this device frame with the beads. So meron siyang beads na parang nilalagay sa mga bracelets or something beads. Ano po? And it has strung on wires or rods and has an ability to calculate arithmetics and perform by manipulating the beads. Ano po? So they are using specific calculation and manually moving the beads. So it is specifically used in the Middle East and Asia. So there are two reasons for its popularity. The abacus is simple and effective. Yun lang naman po yung purpose niya. Pero basically, wala nang masyadong gumagamit yan nowadays. Pero if we're going to go in the national museums or any mga architectural part dyan sa Manila, meron pa naman. Pero historically, China talaga ang unang gumamit. So next we have the Napier's bone. So John Napier was a Scottish mathematician who became famous for his invention of logarithmics. So logarithmics, it is the arithmetic calculation that focusing on additions only. And the use of logs enable him to reduce any multiplication problem to a problem of additions. So basically, his bones are set of 11 rods, side by side, product and quotients of the large number can be obtained. So the sticks were called bones, so because they were made of bones or ivory. If you're going to visualize the ivory, para po siyang lagayan ng urn po, lagayan ng mga abo. Yan, parang ganun yung style. And Napier's bone represented a significant contribution to the development of computing devices. Ano po? So basically, these computing devices was kumbaga mas advanced ng konti compared dun sa abacus kasi it calculates naman ng multiple problems of additions. Kasi yung abacus, it calculate manual and a single only. Hindi po niya kayang mag-multiple ng madami. So next we have the outrage side rule. So basically, it is a form with the various kumbaga in Europe during the 17th century. Its invention is attributed to the English mathematician, so si William Outridge. Ano po? Basically, a slide rule consists of two movable rulers placed by side. So each ruler is marked off in such a way that the actual distance from the beginning of the numbers printed on the rulers by sliding the rulers, one can quickly multiply and divide. So ito mas more effective na doon sa Napier's bone kasi it calculates basically numbers and multiplication and divisions. Kaya niya na po dito ang multiplication and divisions. So next we have the Pascal calculator. So basically, this Pascal calculators was developed by a French mathematician and experimental physicist who was one of the first modern scientists to build a calculator. So in 1965, he devised a calculating machine that was capable of adding and subtracting numbers. So the machine was opened by dialing a series of wheels. Pascal calculators had a serious drawback. It could not be produced by technology of his time. There was no industrial technology in 17th century. So basically, it is a calculator that calculate different kinds of problems. But basically, in their time of Pascal's, they are no industrial technology. They have no marketing to market this specific calculator, and then they have no resources, so they use it only on their specific location where Pascal invented it and experiment it. So Leibniz calculator, like Pascal, so Gottfried Leibniz was a 17th century scientist who recognized the value of building machines that could do mathematical calculations. So ito, mathematical calculations na siya. And save labor too. He was one of the greatest scientific genius of his time. Leibniz, 26 finished his calculator. So 26 years old siya in 1964. So it utilized the same technologies for addition and subtraction as Pascal's divide, but could also perform multiplication and division as well as extract square root. So ito medyo mas advanced na compared dun sa mga nabanggit po natin, that it has an ability to calculate all of the mathematical problems and square root. So it can extract square root na. So next we have the Charles Babbage. So basically in 19th century, Charles Babbage considered as the father of modern technology. No, modern computer rather. Although he did not actually build on operational computers himself, his ideas became the basis for the modern computational devices. Inconsiderable with the interest in invention inspired by industrialization that characterized his era. So if you're going to oversee the computers nowadays, Charles Babbage invented a basis for modern computational devices. If you're going to see our computers, yung system unit na tinatawag, yung CPU, Central Processing Unit, pero yung term kasi natin CPU, pero system unit yung tawag. Yung concept nun is parang analytical engine na ginawa ni Babbage. So it has an ability to calculate something specifically in mathematics, arithmetic technology. So it has a multi-purpose programmable po. So ibig sabihin, in the time was this analytical was built, pero he not yet accomplish his goal and machine. Hindi pa masyadong build yan, pero i-describe ni Babbage na yung detailed nito that can be the first work in general purpose and programmable computers. So, it has an ability to absorb and embed programmable codes. So, if you're aware with HTML, CSS, and if you're going to see your keyboard and click F12, meron mga programmable English-like code po dyan. So, ganun ang purpose niya. Pero hindi pa siya kino-commercialize kasi namatay si Babbage in a half century ng 19th. Ano po? Hindi niya natuloy yan. And then, ang nangyari sa calculations ni Babbage is hindi na siya na created or na-build. Pero, yung basis kasi, dito rin nila kinuha for building our system unit nowadays. So, next we have Hollerith's punch card machine. So, in 1880s rather, Herman Hollerith was a statistician which based on the US Bureau of Census and completed a set of machines to help process the result of the 1890 census. So, using a 3x5-inch punch cards to record the data, he constructed a electronic magnetic counting machine to sort the data manually and tabulate the data. So, if you're going to see, para siyang parang nagbobotohan, parang ganon. Pero census kasi, focusing on counting specific human being. Yung census, nagbibilang po yan ng tao. And if we're going to see, meron tayong mga experiences sometimes in our home na may magbivisit galing sa local registry to count how many people are there in a specific home. Pero on their time, ng time ni Hollerith, they are manually encoding the records and data of individuals. And it is electromagnetic counting, so basically it is continuous. And naka-manually tabulated na siya. So after you're going to have the encoding of the records, it already in the tabulated data and you're going to see the result. Diba? Medyo nag-advance na po yung technology nila dito, pero basically malaking bagay yun kasi they're counting the humankind for this census. So next we have the different kinds of generations of computers. So we have first gen, third, fourth, first, second, third, fourth, fifth. So basically in first generations, way back on 1939 to 1954, there is a computer uses a vacuum tubes tinatawag. So vacuum tubes are circuitry and magnetic drums for memory. As a result, they were enormous, literally taking up entire rooms and causing a fortune to run. So there were insufficient materials which generated a lot of heat, sucked huge electricity, and subsequently generated a lot of heat which causing ongoing breakdowns. So yung mga first generated computers, they are built in entire rooms, and it causing a fortune to run. Kasi you're going to invest in a materials that prone in electricity and breakdowns. Hindi pa niya kayang i-adapt yung voltage na dumadaan po sa kanya. Pero it is one of the parts ng computers na ginamit for memory. Ibig sabihin, it can only accommodate small amount of data. If you are aware with KBS, MBS, gigabyte, down to terabyte, nasa KBS pa siya. So, if you're going to process kasi ng mga text, KBS lang po siya. Pero if you're going to process images, videos, kailangan na dyan megabyte, gigabyte na, or terabytes to be able to process. Pero, in their time, sabi nga ni ni Dr. John V. Anastov, one of the creator of electronic computers and prototype the vacuum tubes. It cost a fortune to run kasi mahal po talaga nung panahon po nila to create computers. So, in the generation number 2, so meron na ditong machine language na tinatawag. So, if you are aware with motherboard, they are containing different kinds of programmable circuits. So, these generations of computers has relied on machine language. Ang machine language po, it focusing on 1 and 0. Ano po, ang nababasa lang kasi ng computers noong unang panahon is 1 and 0. Pero nowadays, ang nababasa ng mga advanced computers po natin ay English-like. Ibig sabihin po, they are now have the ability to understand English language. Kasi during the development, syempre, from development 0 down or up to the development today, so mas naging advanced na po. And these computers were limited to solving one problem at a time. So, meron nang ginagamit na computers, pero basically, it can only solve one at a time. Pero, nowadays, in our computers, we multitask. We can open different kinds of tabs. We can makinig ng music while watching and so on and so forth. So basically, marami na pong nagagawa compared sa ating mga naunang devices. So next, we have the punch card and transistors. So in punch card and transistor, basically, transistors, it has an ability to control better than yung ating pong naunang diniscuss, which is the vacuum tubes. Yan. So, mas advanced na siya compared po doon sa ating ngayon. So, they are using specific transistors na to be able to control the voltage that we're going to insert in specific devices. Kasi 'di ba na-invento na po dito yung itong motherboards na merong integrated circuits. Yung integrated circuits, pang-control po natin ng mga voltage to be able to overcome yung mga heat and breakdowns na pwedeng mangyari sa motherboard. Kasi 'di ba, ang process po natin is one at a time. So basically, in the transistors, pwede na nating kaya na niya ng data. So sabi sa module natin, there is a big improvement over computers to damaging level of heats. So hugely superior to the vacuum tube, so making computers smaller, faster, cheaper, and less heavy on electronic use. Kasi yung vacuum tubes medyo malaki. Ano po? So convert nila ito into transistors para at least mas maliit. And then, if you're going to see your old radio, your old computers, may mga transistors kayo dyan na makikita. Pero meron namang nabibili po ng mga transistors sa mga bilian po ng mga computers. Parang maliit siya na may salamin. So, that is a controlling or overcoming the heat na pwedeng ma-encounter ng ating pong mga motherboard para hindi siya sumabog or mag-short. So, in the third generations, meron na ditong mga chip and integrated circuit or IC. So, transistors were now being manipulated and put on silicon chips. So, it called semiconductors na. From transistors to semiconductors. So, this led to a massive increase in speed and efficiency of this machine. So, nung nagawa na po itong IC, mga integrated circuits and chip, yung motherboard hinihinang na siya. Pwede nang i-embed doon at mag-insert ng parang silicone paste para mas ma-minimize at maging prone siya sa breakdowns. Kasi 'di ba, ang silicone na merong silicone kasi na pag nilagay natin siya sa parts ng computers, they can absorb heat. Ano po? So, in their time, ito na yung ginamit nila for to help the motherboards specifically for absorbing heat. So, in the fourth generations, nandun na po yung mga microprocessors. So, if you're aware with Intel Celeron, i7, Intel Atom, yan. So, those are the microprocessors that build and embed in our specific system unit na. Pero dito kasi, they are embedding naman yung IC doon sa microprocessors. So, in this revolution, dinevelop na nila yung Word Intel chip maker development. So, ang gumawa po niyan ay Intel company 404 in 1971, which is positions all computers component. Yung CPU po ay computer components. So, basically, it focusing on processes. Hindi po yan yung pag may isang buong computers tayo, yung isang parts ng computers is hindi siya CPU. Yung CPU is Central Processing Unit ng ating pong specific devices. And in the first ever computer na kinreate ng IBM, so it designed for home, dito nagkaroon na tayo ng mga Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, down to the Windows 11 Pro po nowadays. And microprocessors even move beyond the realm of computers and into an increasing numbers of everyday product. So, 1991, medyo updated na dyan po yung ating mga computers. Kaya na mag-process ng multitask. Dati kasi, one at a time, tapos multiple, and then now, it has a management for database, for data, for heat, and storage also. Kaya niya na mag-store ng medium amount of data. Kasi hindi pa naman niya kaya dito ang gigabyte. Puro KBS. And then, these are the types of microprocessors po, which is microprocessors can see in our different kinds of system unit na embedded po yan dun sa loob, na nilalagyan po yan ng thermal paste or silicone for absorbing the heat. Kasi umiinit po yan sa loob. Ano po, yung microprocessors na yan. And one of the sensitive parts ng computer is the microprocessors. Once na binuksan niya yan, tapos sinanggal niya siya at medyo nayupe yung gold plate niya, hindi na po yan gagana. That is very sensitive. Ano po? Kaya po, ingatan natin if we're going to open our system unit, kumbaga magsabi sa expert, or if you have inexperience, walang problema. Pero, that is one of the sensitive parts ng computers. Kasi gold plate yan. Pwede nyo siyang ipunin, kumuha kayo ng madaming CPU, tunawin nyo, matitira dyan yung gold. So, pwede nyo siyang ibenta. Ano po, gold yan, talagang real gold po yung nandun sa loob. Kasi, gold can absorb heat din. Ano po, hindi siya masyadong nagbi-breakdown. So, in our fifth generations, under development, and nowadays, so we are on the AI na. Ano po? So, marami na pong dinevelop na AI. And nowadays, syempre, meron tayong different kinds of AI na din-develop. Still, these technologies emerge, such as yung mga voice recognitions, smart TV, smart applications, mga ChatGPT, Gemini, Canva, ano po. So, madami na pong dinevelop na AI. So, if you're going to visualize the definitions of AI, it is basically focusing on the parallel processing and superconductors. So it leaning into the future. So computers nowadays will radically transform again the quantum computations, yung mga molecular nanotechnologies na available nowadays. Sa part namin sa DOST, we have nanotechnology. So essence of fifth generation will be using these technologies of ultimately create machines which process and respond to natural languages. So pag sinabing natural language, these are our language that interprets by computers or AI. For example, we are typing something in ChatGPT, so that is natural language. So you are recording your voice, you are using voice recognition, that is natural language processing. Ibig sabihin, you are asking some question, you are requesting services, you are requesting to summarize with the use of this specific voice recognition AI. So, natural language po ang tawag doon. So, that are examples of in fifth generations AI na tayo nowadays. Pero sana, in our part, magkaroon ng initiatives ang ating government for us to develop pa yung use ng AI or mabigyan pa tayo ng importansya at support ng ating government for enhancing our daily lives with the use of AI. Pero kasi itong mga AI na to, you can use it by free, pero if you're going to avail the more updated part ng ChatGPT and Gemini, you have to pay. Pay as you go. Ano po ang tawag dyan. So, in lesson number 3, these are the principles of the digital age. So, we see different kinds of technology and changes. Now, we're going to focus naman on the principles of digital age or digital development. So, with the definitions, digital age or ICT D4 is focusing on the describing of the use of applications and technology in the digital tools in international development. Nowadays kasi, if we're going to see our technologies, medyo late tayo. Or, ang Pilipinas lagi nasa baba ng ranking ng international development. If we're going to see the technologies in different kinds of country, they are improving. Ano po? Sa Philippines kasi, basically, walang pagbabago. Ano po? Hindi natin kaya makipag-compete sa different kinds of country for our different kinds of technology. Anong ipagmamalaki po natin? Isipin nyo kung ano po yung mga nagawa na po ng ating government for us to improve our daily lives. In the community, parang wala pa. Pero in the businesses, may mga nagawa na din naman for us to improve or for them to improve their businesses. For example, if we're going to see the different kinds of businesses like gardenia or mga bakeries na po. In gardenia, in their time na wala pa silang mga machines and hindi pa doon uso ang digital development, they are using manual to cut different kinds of bread. Po, manually, nahati-hati nila yung tinapay to individuals. And then, when they are in the digital development, so there are like machines to cut down in precise size. Ano po, yung talagang saktong-sakto at kuhang-kuha yung size na programmable at dire-diretso siya. Hindi na kailangan ng manpower, hindi na kailangan ng tao to cut specific bread in precise size. Pero nowadays, basically, if we're going to see different kinds of technologies in our country, yun pa lang naman. Pero if you're going to know more sa mga technologies na dinedevelop ng government or privates, pwede nyo i-visit yung mga websites po nila. Pero kasi, in our time and social medias, we are not focusing on that particular topics. We are more focusing on the entertainment, videos, content, or more on shopping online. So basically, hindi natin masyadong pinafocus yung mga ganito. Ano po? So, why ICTD 4D is important? So, the role of this ITD4 is for international development. While the digital revolution has not advanced on equal pace across the world and marginalized groups continue to be excluded, the introduction of new tools has brought improvement. So, bakit importante ang ICT in our development, in digital development, for us to advance? Pero basically, sana gumagawa ng paraan ang TICT, if you're aware with Department of Information and Communication Technologies, dapat gumagawa sila ng rules and regulations how we're going to improve our technologies. Particularly sana if they are going to compete on the international development and they have the principles of digital development, pwede nilang gawin dyan, lagyan nila na, or i-marginalize nila yung groups or government offices na magkaroon ng internet na free, or magkaroon tayo sa community natin, for example in our bus stop or in specific area na lagyan ng internet. Pero in our part kasi tayo, once kasi na merong mga resources na available dyan, inaabuso naman ng tao. Yun lang disadvantage kasi pag nagkaroon ka ng initiatives at development of technologies, later on, maraming magrereklamo at maraming sisilip sa technologies mo kasi hindi nakikinabang yung iba at yung iba lang yung makikinabang. Yun yung pinakamasakit na part when you're going to marginalize our specific technologies na meron tayo. Laging ma-excluded na po. Pero ang mga tao kasi takot sa development eh. Specifically in the government offices, they are more on manual process. So, dapat kung meron tayong mga principles in development, we consider development talaga ng process or changing of process. Pag may introduce ng technology, i-adapt natin. Pero basically kasi, in our part, pag nagpapa-adapt kami ng technology, nahirapan kami. Specifically, sa mga thunders or may mga edad na sa trabaho, they are not on the shortcut process. Mas gusto nila yung manual process. So, in the principles of digital development, we have different kinds of types that we're going to encounter or solve it. So first, in designing with the user, di ba, we are focusing on the developing technologies, or for example, our country is focusing on the digital development. Ang unang gagawin nila is design with the user. I know that people are born judgmental. So basically, in this creations, or you're going to develop system and new technology and new process, you must know your audience. Kasi sabi ko nga po, people are born judgmental. Pag may nakita po silang mali, they're going to comments, they're going to give you an advice, or mamaliin ka, and so on and so forth. So, if you're going to develop new technologies and innovations, kailangan alam mo yung gusto ng mga users. Design with the users. Plan with the users. Create with the users. Consider the users. Po. So, next we have understand the ecosystem. So, why? Why you're going to understand the ecosystem? So, basically, if you're going to oversee yung mga existing technology and regulatory policies na meron tayo, it has an ability to increase the relevance and sustainability of technology supported by our international development or in our country. Kasi 'di ba, kumbaga, if you're going to understand the ecosystem, it provides different kinds of recommendation and ensuring the programs and projects are considered giving importance po or in the local ecosystem natin. So next, we have the design for the scale. Excuse me po. So in designing this scale, so from the start, you have to assess and mediate the process. Kasi ang term ng design for the scale is a system or approach to design. 'Di ba? May ni-introduce tayong system. Consider po natin yung mga implications dun sa ating mga ginagawang technologies. And besides from that, you're going to analyze all the technology that we're going to created and dapat i-demonstrate natin yung impact before going and have a solution. Ano po? So, next we have building sustainability. So, ito pag build tayo ng sustainability, we have to plan. Specifically, if you're going to develop a system or digital development, kailangan nagpaplano po tayo for long-term use. Kasi, if we're going to assess different kinds of technology and innovations and digital development, kailangan yung pang long-term use. Paplanuhin natin ng pang long term siya, and at the same time i-utilize natin how we're going to have or how we're going to have our investments go or grow. So build for sustainability para po sa mga communities din natin to. Use open use open standards, open data, open source, and open innovations. So in this particular situations, pag kasi nagka-create tayo ng technology or digital development, kailangan adapt and expand natin yung existing standards. Kung dun sa dinedevelop nating system or process is meron tayong mga policies, maximize po natin yung standards po para at least magkaroon tayo ng kumbaga yung mga system na dinedevelop natin or mga digital development na ginagawa natin is open source. Ibig sabihin po ng open source, available in public. Hindi lang sa specific company nyo siya, pero basically dapat open po siya sa public for us to see what are the needs na po. So ano yung mga i-consider pa natin kasi syempre kasama na po dyan yung mga customers and people. So next we have the reuse and improving. So syempre pag sinabing reuse and improving, you are use or going to modify the existing tools na ginagamit nyo in the digital development. So possible dyan, ito kasi IT side, pwede kasing you're going to develop a modular approach para po sa design po natin. And syempre, as we use or we are in the digital era, yung development kasi natin ngayon is napaka-mature pa. Kasi we have no resources, budget specifically, na mag-maintain ng mga gantong projects for digital development. Isipin nyo kung lahat tayo may free wifi, di ba? Hindi na natin kailangan mag-pay ng monthly, and we are going to use and give as services para po sa ating daily lives. Ano po? So, yun sana yung maging initiatives ng government po natin. Ano po? Pero, syempre, hindi may isip yun kasi they are focusing on political sides. They are not focusing on the livelihoods and lives of individual like us. Ano po? Hindi sila against doon. So, next we're addressing security and privacy. So, syempre, assess and mitigate the risk. Ano po? For the development or digital development, if you're going to oversee the address privacy and security, so we must consider the risk, ano po, or mitigate the risk to the users and the data of individuals. Kasi basically, in this part naman kasi, we are going to ensure the equality and fairness. particularly in our data, kung syempre, di ba, meron tayong principles of development. Tapos meron tayong nag-i-encode tayo ng data, pero after you collect the data, you expose it online. So wala nang credibility. Wala nang kumbaga in-expose mo na yung data ng isang individuals. So bawal po 'yon, ano po. So pag may development tayo, kailangan hindi natin i-expose. You can expose only the short data na pwede, ano po. So para at least magkaroon tayo ng privacy. Lastly, be collaborative, ano po. So syempre in the principles of digital development, dapat hindi nawawala po ang collaborative. So if we're going to oversee, we must engage to the expert or yung mas maalam po sa atin. Kasi 'di ba, if we're establishing principles of digital development, syempre kailangan natin ng consultations to the expert specifically. Kasi syempre, 'di ba, meron kasi tayong mga processes na alam, pero mas meron palang alam itong consultant natin in a legal way. Kasi 'di ba, if we're going to see a specific process in government, they are all written in their visions and missions or in their Magna Carta. If you're aware with Magna Carta, lahat po ng process nila nakasulat po doon. Kaya if you're going to go in the facilities of different kinds of government offices, they have a printed process to be able to determine yung kanilang stages and how you're going to approach them and to know the process also. So be collaborative. Excuse me po. So next, we have microprocessors na. So in the discussion way back po dito sa mga generations po natin, tackle natin tong types of microprocessors, ano po. So in this lesson naman, microprocessors na siya. So in the definition, microprocessor is the central unit of computers, ano po. So dun sa principle naman na discuss natin kanina, from start down to the last, kailangan i-consider natin yung technologies na ginagamit po natin nowadays is very important. Specifically, kahit hindi tayo IT, kailangan malaman natin kung ano yung mga nilalaman ng mga parts ng computers po natin. Specifically, mga ginagamit po natin. Isipin nyo, gumagamit tayo ng website, pero hindi nyo alam kung paano siya ginawa. Gumagamit tayo ng mga online games, pero hindi nyo siya alam kung paano siya ginawa. So, with this lesson, particularly our course na IT, we are focusing on that particular topics. So, microprocessors, basically, it is the brain of computers. Para mas short na siya. Brain of computers that performs arithmetic and logical operations like us, like our brain. He is the center of all our movements, our how we're going to think emotionally, physically, diba? So how our body works. So, ganun din po sa microprocessors. If we're going to delete data, dumadaan sa processors. So generally, including adding, subtracting, transferring numbers from one area to another, and comparing two numbers, even though simple as processors. So meron siyang logical chip, essentially for a specific engine or brain of the computers na yan. So emotionally, it is a programmable multi-purpose device that incorporates the functions of CPU. Iba po yung CPU and system unit ha. The microprocessors are the central processing unit with integrated circuits. Ito na yung advanced natin nowadays. So how does microprocessors work? So it works and accepts binary as data, as input. So input process the data and provides an output based on instructions stored in the memory. So, microprocessors work if you're going to save specific data or documents, it is already instructed by microprocessors to store on specific folders and locations. Di ba pag nag-create tayo ng documents, it is detailed. Kung hindi nyo siya i-rename, default yung name po niya. So, it is automatically generated by our microprocessors and it is programmable. Pwede nyong i-edit po or i-rename siya once na na-save na po yung data. And microprocessors processes ALU, arithmetical and logical unit. Meron siyang control unit, register arrays, that registers array processes data by number of registers that act as temporarily fast access memory locations. So the flow of instructions and data through the system is managed by the control unit. Yan. So meron tayong mga processes na dumadaan po lahat sa ating microprocessors. So ano po yung benefits ng microprocessors? So they don't cost a lot. Bakit? Kasi if you're going to go back in our last discussions, meron dong mga devices na kailangan mong gumastos na malaki para mabuild ng isang computers or it cause a breakdowns. Pero ang microprocessors natin nowadays, basically, due to the use of IC, yung ating microprocessors don't cost much to produce. Pwede kang bumili to change your microprocessors. But the advantage and disadvantage, if you're going to change your microprocessors, for example, you have using Intel 5 from Intel 7 or i7 or iCore 7, you must upgrade also the memory and RAM and also the graphics. Kasi if you're going to change your microprocessors pero hindi nyo ina-upgrade yung devices, hindi niya kayang i-accommodate yung mga bagong updates. Hindi niya ma-accommodate. If for example, if your OS is Windows 11 and it is already updating to Windows 11 Pro, so hindi kayang i-adapt ng ating Intel yon na pinalit nyo. Kailangan i-align nyo po siya para mag-smooth yung process. Kasi once na na-detect po niya na hindi compatible, it will automatically shut down and hindi siya magpa-process. Hindi siya magagana. So, isa pang benefit ng microprocessors, they are fast. So, basically, the technology used to produce modern microprocessors has allowed us to operate highly speed today. So, it can execute millions of instructions per seconds. For if we're going to go back in our discussions, one at a time, di ba? Multiple time. Pero dito, ang benefits niya, they are fast kasi they execute millions of instructions, di ba? If for example, you're using your mobile phone and you're using your computers, once na nag-delete ka, once na nag-add ka, once na nag-save ka, once na nanonood ka ng YouTube, you are typing, you are playing, and so on and so forth. That is part of the millions of executions of computers. Kasi every click, every save, it has a logs. Ang concept niyan parang sa Facebook natin activity log. If you upload something, kita po doon. If you comment in specific status, nakikita po doon. So parang ganun siya. They are fast. So next, they consume little power. Compared doon sa mga vacuum tubes and any other devices na ginawa noon, so it is more, it consumes or they are fast. So they consume a little more power. Kasi yung power consumption is much lower compared dun sa mga microprocessors. So syempre, yung mga embedded parts doon sa loob ng computers natin nowadays is meron na siyang metal oxide or meron siyang kumbaga nagma-manage ng mga heat metal oxide. So it is more efficient compared to the other devices na ginawa po noon. Next, they are portable. So pag sinabing portable, dahil maliit po sila, they don't consume a lot of powers. Ano po? So, hindi sila nag-consume ng mataas na voltage, and at the same time, devices that we are using can be designed to be a portable like smartphone. So, ito mga tablets natin, mga computers natin, and laptops is portable kasi you can on and off. You can navigate all what are you going to do in your computers. So, yun yung mga benefits po ng ating microprocessors. So, ito naman mga common terms used in microprocessors. So, pag sinabing word length, it is focusing on the bits and bytes. Are you aware with that? Kilobytes, mga ganon, bits. So, meron kasi tayong tinatawag na, or yung processing natin ng word length, basically, it is focusing or it refers to the numbers of bits of processor. If you are aware with 32-bit, 64-bit, that is the word length. Ano pa? So, instruction set is the series of command. Ano po? Ano yung mga iniutosan sa computers that understand by our system or our devices. For example nga, you are building or creating documents in your devices, i-instruct nyo na siya na i-save siya. So, it is an interface between hardware and software. Like mouse, kunwari. O, kiniklik nyo dyan. Nakiklik kayo. So, this is part of the instruction set. You are moving it. Ano po, yan. So, you are changing the location of this icon. So, that is part of the instruction set. Ano po, kaya natin nagagalaw yung mga data or na-edit natin yung mga data dyan. So, next we have the cache. Hindi po yan cache. Cache. Ang base niyan, memory. So, the cache memory is the stored data in our software or programs. Particularly if you're playing online games like Mobile Legend or Facebook, if you clear your cache memory, it will automatically reset the process, and it is more on increasing the overall operation and speed. Ulit, nire-reset niya for us to have the operation and allowing us to process data quickly in our RAM. Kasi itong cache nakafocus siya sa RAM, random access memory, na meron po ang bawat devices. Kaya po, kapag mabagal ang RAM natin, medyo mahirapan po yung pagpaprocess ng ating mga applications. So, clock speed, basically if you're aware with gigahertz, GHz, or megahertz, that is speed that execute instructions ng mga computers po natin. Kunwari, if you're going to buy laptops, consider nyo yung gigahertz ng monitor niya. So, ilang hertz ba ang kayang i-identify or ma-process ng mga PC and laptops po natin? Ano po? So, it is focusing on our microprocessors is able to execute instructions because of clock speed. So, bus, basically, it described in transmitting data or address controls. Kaya po tayo meron tayong mga flash drives na kinakabit po sa ating computers and laptops kasi it is the ability to transmit data. Kaya tayo nakakapagpasa ng mga data via USB type, via hard drives, or even though cable is part of the bus. Parang concept ng bus, point to point. Alam niyo yan? Kunwari, from Manila to Laguna, Laguna to Manila. Parang ganun ang style. So, tama ba ako? So, next we have the categories naman ng microprocessors. So, based on word length, ito yung definition kanina. Ano po? So, classified as 32-bit and 64-bit. So, next we have the reduced instruction set of computers. So, RISC, basically, it is focusing on how computers operate. With the definition, it is a general use that those have a more specific set of instructions, set execution, So, yung processor natin requires the circuit to load and process data. Para at least mas mabilis tayo. RISC is focusing on storing and processes our data. For example, you're encountering virus. Hindi ma-process ng data, hindi ma-process ng computers natin ng mga data nyo and hindi gumagana yung computers. So, lahat po ng execution instruction, papasok po yan sa reduce instruction set ng computers. So, we're going to navigate our computers and scan it for to reset the viruses and clear the viruses. Because RISC microprocessors have fewer instructions, they have simpler circuits, which means they operate faster. Ang problema lang kasi dito sa RISC, dun sa mga processes kasi na ginagawa natin, specifically if there is a virus, nire-reduce niya yung instructions na nare-receive ng computers. For example, na-virusan kayo, ayaw gumana ng keyboard, ayaw gumana ng, hindi mabuksan yung folder, nag-error yung printing nyo, and so on and so forth. So, basically, ganun siya. So, next we have the complex instructions naman. So, set computers. So, it is focusing on the how our computers numerously give instruction to each other in addressing mode. Ano po? Kasi, if our computers are slow and it cannot accommodate programs, so basically, meron tayong tinatawag na hard reset. Pag hard reset natin ng computers, it will automatically go to the BIOS setup and there is a complex instructions there for us to reset the microprocessors and clear the registers and cycles or clock cycles na meron tayo. Kasi naka-focus po in addressing modes and our computers will going to go back in process ulit if we're going to hard reset this specific devices po. So next we have the special processors. So some of our microprocessors are built to perform specific functions. Ito naman, ano siya, yung parang if you're going to add a coprocessors, specifically memory, you are putting something that is capable for storing data. So, kumbaga, you are adding local memory. Pero pwede yan if you're going to see my desktop. Hindi pa na pwedeng i-share, no? Pero naka OBS. Kailangan ko pang i-navigate yung ano. Pero meron dyan tinatawag na partitions for local memory. Pero yung processors kasi natin, once na nag-create tayo ng separate memory, pag na-virus yung isa, yung D, at meron kang separate na E, hindi yun nabavirusan yung isa. Yun lang isa po ang mabubura. Kaya ang advantage dyan, para ma-process natin or ma-maximize natin yung special purpose processes, kailangan meron kayong local memory tinatawag, which is partitions po ang tawag. So, next, we're going to answer po yung mga assessment tasks natin. Pero if we're going to check our module, ano po siya, true or false, 30 points, and then meron din po ng assessment 2 which is word search. Ano po, so I'm going to create it on our face-to-face sana. Piprint ko sana to para at least manually nating mahanap yung mga words kasi dito ay word search based dun sa mga na-discuss natin. Hanapin nyo lang doon yung mga nabanggit po natin sa ating mga discussions. So, in our summaries, bago tayo mag-end, kasi medyo mahaba pa tong module number 3 and kumbaga, isa face-to-face ko na, sa next online class ko na po i-discuss tong module number 3. So, in summary, na-discuss po natin dyan yung mga abacus, di ba? First generations, third, fourth, fifth, and why digital development is important, kumbaga, ano na itulong niya, and then the principles, tapos yung mga microprocessors and benefits and categories ng microprocessors. So In module number 3, if kaya pa, next meeting po natin or sa Saturday, we're going to maximize our time for discussing it po, para tayo magkaroon po ng time na po for our assessment task and other matters po. So with that, going to end na po these discussions po. If there is a questions and concern, please address me on our group chats, and syempre pwede nyo akong i-PM po sa mga concerns na pwede nating sabihin. Open naman po yung messenger ko po. So, hindi ko sure kung paano ko to isi-send, pero 1 hour is medyo malaki yung size ng pero yun, para at least meron tayong resources. So, I'm going to end this recording, and thank you po. Sana po ay makinig, at pasensya na po doon sa mga mga ubo-ubo and other sounds na maririnig po nyo po dyan. So, pasensya na po. So, ganun talaga ang live, po, may mga other sounds and other matters na nasasabi. Minsan pumipiyok pa ako, po. Ayan, so pasensya na po. Ayan. So, thank you po.